What's up guys, today we're going to be going over the Jack, Queen, King 3 and why it might just be the best PvE hand cannon in the game currently. In this video we will be breaking down the best perks in each slot and also just overall what are the best roles in general. So first thing that makes this hand cannon extremely good is the fact that it's very easy to farm. If you go to the obelisk on Nessus, it is a time loss bounty right here and you can pick up to 4 at a time and do them all at once and come back and pick up 4 again depending on how all of your other obelisks are ranked up. So it's very easy to farm and there's a lot of good perks to get, so pretty much everyone you farm there's a very high chance of getting a good roll. Second thing that makes this hand cannon extremely strong is just the perks itself. In the left slot we have 3 main good perks: Demolitionist, then Subsistence, which will reload the magazine every time you get a kill, and finally the other perk that is kind of borderline good, kind of not, is Threat Detector, because it's pretty much the only standard reload perk on this weapon. So first we have Demolitionist, which will give you grenade energy on every single kill, and it takes 8 kills to get your full grenade back. And every time you throw your grenade, it will reload the weapon from reserves, which means you pretty much never have to reload because you have a magazine of 12 and it only takes 8 kills to get your grenade back. So quick maths, as long as you're not spamming, you'll be able to get a full grenade every single magazine. Or you could use Threat Detector, which as I mentioned is the only traditional reload perk on this weapon. The reload already is pretty good on this weapon, then if you get Threat Detector ×2, it's going to be just a bit quicker. But at the same time, it's not really that much quicker. If you just use a hand cannon reload perk, it'll be pretty much the exact same thing. And the final perk on the left slot is going to be Subsistence, which will reload 2 bullets every single time you get a kill with this weapon, which means once again, if you're not spamming and you get one-shot kills, you will never have to reload this weapon. So that is also a very good perk. But the only trade-off with this is you hold 77 ammo with this perk on, but if you use a regular hand cannon without it on, you now hold 116, which is going to be roughly 40 less ammo, which isn't as bad as it used to be, but definitely worth noting, and you're going to have to pay attention to your ammo count. Moving on to the right slot, there's going to be a lot of good perks on this hand cannon. We have Rampage, we have Swashbuckler, then we also have Surrounded, so those are going to be the 3 main damage perks. And if you're using Surrounded, you have to make sure to put it on Surrounded spec because it pretty much is make or break for that perk. Then the final perk we're going to be using in the right slot is going to be Dragonfly, which once again, if you're using Dragonfly, make sure to use the Dragonfly spec because that is once again another make or break for the perk. So first we have Swashbuckler, which goes up to ×5 and is going to be 33%. And you can get up to ×5 with this perk just like you would with Rampage, or you can get a melee kill and get the full ×5 stack right off the bat. But that's not as big of a deal on something like a hand cannon compared to something like a sidearm and SMG, where they'll be getting a lot of close range encounters. So for that reason, I'll just stick with Rampage and Rampage spec to make the perk last longer. This way you only will have to get 3 kills to get the max buff of 30%, and it's going to be very easy to maintain because of that 4.5 second buff duration. It just overall works a lot better for hand cannons compared to Swashbuckler. But those aren't the only 2 damage perks on this weapon. You can also get Surrounded with Surrounded spec, and that will actually be the highest buff at 40%. But with a hand cannon, you're not going to find yourself surrounded by 3 or more enemies as often as you would with something like a sidearm or SMG. So it could be a good perk if you really play into it and play really close ranges, maybe with a Devour build or something like that. But if you're just using a hand cannon like normal, more often than not, you're not going to be surrounded by 3 or more enemies, so I definitely just stick with Rampage or Swashbuckler. Then the final perk on the right slot is going to be Dragonfly. And when you pair that with Dragonfly spec, every single time you get a headshot kill, it pretty much just shoots off a nuclear bomb and instantly makes the gun extremely strong for AoE ad clear. And that's pretty much what Dragonfly does. It takes any weapon and makes it extremely good AoE ad clear. And it pairs really well with a hand cannon because the fact you're going to be getting one-shot headshot kills very often. Another thing you can do with Dragonfly that's really cool with this weapon is you can roll it with Demolitionist or Subsistence, and the Dragonfly kills actually proc the other perk in those 2 situations. Which means in situations where there's going to be a lot of low tier enemies and you can kill them all with 1 shot with Dragonfly exploding, that means you're going to be proccing Demolitionist multiple times per shot, which means you're going to be getting your grenade very quickly, pretty much in 1 or 2 shots. And the same thing can be said about Subsistence. Every single time you proc Dragonfly, it's on proc Subsistence multiple times every single time someone dies to the explosion, which means you will probably never have to reload with that combo. So those are 2 very interesting combos you can pull off with this weapon. And that is another reason why this hand cannon might be the best one in PvE right now. There's so many different perk combinations you just can't get anywhere else in the game. The 4 main god rolls are going to be Dragonfly plus Subsistence or Demolitionist. Then the other 2 roles that I would consider god rolls for this weapon are going to be Rampage Demolitionist, then also Swashbuckler Demolitionist. And pretty much all those roles you'll never have to reload because Demolitionist or Subsistence. Then you either have Dragonfly or Damage perk. Now I'd use Dragonfly in situations where you can one-shot the enemies pretty easily, like the red bars and stuff like that. Then I'd swap over to Rampage or Swashbuckler depending on which one you prefer for those scenarios where you need a little bit more damage to get those one-shot kills. So it's not only those amazing perk combos that make this weapon stand out compared to other hand cannons in the game, it is also a 150 RPM, which is pretty much the sweet spot for hand cannons in this game. Perfect balance of rate of fire and damage. Then it's also a lightweight frame, which is very beneficial in both PvE and PvP. You always want to go quicker. And it's an energy weapon, which means it pairs perfectly with a lot of the meta builds in the game right now, Islami's Burden plus Wendigo or whatever GL, or even 21% Delirium. So just recapping a few of the things that make this hand cannon so great. It's a 150 RPM lightweight hand cannon in the energy slot. Not only does it have some of the best perks in the game, it also has different combinations of perks you can't find anywhere else on any other hand cannon. And it's very easy to farm, and there's not that many perks in each slot, so getting a good roll is actually pretty easy. And those are all the main reasons why I would consider this the best hand cannon in PvE right now. The only other one I would even consider giving that title to right now would be Kindled Orchid with Drop Mag, Rampage, and Kill Clip. That hand cannon is still extremely strong because of the fact that the damage perks were nerfed, so stacking Kill Clip and Rampage isn't really overkill anymore, it's actually really good. And with the damage drop off changes to hand cannons, having that extra damage is actually pretty good because it pretty much increases the effective range of the weapon. So that is definitely another great hand cannon in the game right now. The only downsides of that weapon are it's a 140 RPM and it's a lot harder to farm than this weapon right here. So if we ever got a 150 RPM hand cannon with the exact same roll, it would be better just instantly. Anyways, I definitely think this will be one of the best hand cannons in PvE and probably PvP for quite a while in the energy slot. Pretty much until we get another hand cannon that is a 150 RPM with Rampage and Dragonfly. That will more than likely be the only thing that will surpass this weapon. So it's definitely worth picking up some of these god rolls for this weapon. It's very easy to farm, very easy to get different perks. And not to mention, this will be leaving when the season ends, so you kind of have to do it right now. Anyways, let me know what you think about this hand cannon. Do you agree with me that it's the best one in the game right now? Or which one is your favorite? Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.